So, um, tonight's stream isn't a proper stream. I'm gonna have what I usually do, with a little mix first, and then I'm going to be going and having, well, basically birthday drinks, but lockdown styly. That's all we can really do. Um, I'm going to open a couple of presents on air because I haven't had the ability to share my presents with people. However, one of them I did open. It's from my mother. Um, I thought I have to open one just to know what it is, and I'm so glad I did because it's an amazing set of headphones. You can't actually see because everything's come through reversed, oddly. Um, I thought I'd fix that, but apparently I haven't. Sennheiser HD 25s, and they are a banging set of headphones. I should sort out getting that reversed background. So it's normal. But yeah, so these headphones are very, very, very good, and definitely worth a hell of a lot more. So thank you very much, Mother. I appreciate those muchly. So I'll be testing these out tonight. It won't make me mix any better, but I will be able to hear what I'm doing a little bit better. And then yeah, so tonight is a general chat. So where we usually have what's the word? Direction. Tonight is more about just having a chat, chilling out with people, and no real direction or conversation. It's just chatting with people. But I can't wait to try out these headphones personally. So do forgive me if I seem a little bit rude, but I'm going to have a mix first. Oh yeah, I did what I did before, didn't I? I did what I did before. I do apologise. So there's a couple of settings I keep forgetting to do right at the beginning of the old stream, and I do apologise for forgetting. Again, I should remember, but it's I was so busy with chatting to you lot. I figured, yeah, let's just get on with it, and I forgot to actually check if anything. What an idiot. But these things happen, and hopefully you don't hold it against me. In fact, you can't hold it against me tonight because it's my birthday, and I'll fuck up my mixes if I want to. So anyway, I'm just going to say what I said again. Tonight is not a normal stream. We're not doing anything massive in particular. This is just a premix to everything that is going to be going on. So essentially, this is just me having a laugh, messing around on the turntables, and then in about half an hour, a couple of people joining us just to have a bit of a random chat, no real direction. And we will go from there. So I'm going to switch off the microphone briefly, but I will try and keep my eye on the chat if anyone says anything. Obviously, I can see your chat messages come through to the chat if they come from Facebook, YouTube, or Discord, but I won't actually be able to respond to you directly through the chat those ways, although I'll try and speak to you. And actually, on Twitter or Periscope, the messages don't come through to me at all. So I've been finding that actually all of the messages that people send me, I don't get until after the stream on that, which is a bit of a shame. I do apologise. I will try and keep my eye on Twitter tonight, though. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to have about half-hour mix before people show up, and then who knows what's going to happen, because I really don't. Thank you, Chris. Nice to see you here, dude. Yeah, one of them's my phone, but yeah, 3 cameras. Yeah, 37. I feel a lot older though. Hey Josh, thank you dude. Hopefully if you're not too busy you can even join us on random chat later. It's a free-for-all tonight. We're not doing a proper stream, we're just having a laugh. I'll be finishing mixing as soon as people start showing up around 8ish. Dave should be here, a couple of other people from Air and a couple of randoms. Opie said he'd try and get here. Alexander, great to see you. How bloody typical that the tune I queue up to go whilst I go and grab another beer is completely out of sync. Apologies, I thought I'd sync that up properly. Oh, getting there. Pretty much. Turntables off. 12 seconds. And I'm switching everything over. And I need to remember which button to click. I need to say hello and welcome to Answers in Reason. Sort of fresh air sci-fi show, but not exactly that. I'm Joe, and that's Chris over there. Chris, you look like your camera's gone a bit blurry. Is it a bit hot where you are right now?
Give me a sec.
Hey LB, nice to see you in the chat room, dude. How old am I? I'm 37 today. So LB, I don't know if you saw, but if you've got time, you're more than welcome to join us in the live chat tonight. So we sent out an invite. If you check the YouTube link or anything like that, there is something on there where you can join us on Discord. The chat room should be open. Same goes to anyone else that's out there. I should be in full screen and that should disappear. Yes. So yeah, tonight's stream is a bit of a different stream because we've got no sense of direction. Now, anyone who's watched any of our streams or listened to any of our podcasts knows full well that even when we do have a specific topic in mind, we spend hours and hours going really off topic. So if the only topic is off topic, I'm not sure what we can do because everything
We'll start getting really, really, really in detail of threads that we were supposed to cover before, obviously.
There's been a lot of them of different off-piece things. I mean, I don't know if any of you have actually checked any about the podcast as well as the live video streams. But we do go in a lot more in depth on topics on the podcasts because we have the time to. Sometimes we separate them into little sort of 15-minute, half-hour segments. Sometimes we just do a 3-hour-long podcast. But they tend to be a bit more detailed, whereas what we've been doing with the sci-fi streams is trying to cover off things in quite short detail, give an overview of the topic. Josh says, if the topic is going off topics, then you should be able to stay on topic for this one. Yeah, we should be able to. But as Chris says, I bet we just end up focusing on one topic for the entire night. Like, why the fuck are there birthdays? Why do we celebrate fucking birthdays? How ridiculous is celebrating a birthday? Oh, I got evacuated from a vagina. Oh, let's celebrate it.
I mean, if anybody should be getting presents, surely it should be your mother, who actually went through some serious shit on the day you were born.
Damn straight, and she's had to go through some serious shit for the last 37 years as well. I mean, she's probably had a couple of nice experiences with me, but I bet most of it's been pretty negative.
Wouldn't put money on it.
But how are you anyway, Chris?
Good. Have you enjoyed your day?
Well, we haven't really done much because it's lockdown. So there's only so much that you can actually do in lockdown, and so we started off the day with pancakes, and we ate lots of pancakes. We did the French crepe kind, although I found a new recipe because obviously Katie has to have everything not only gluten-free but dairy-free. And generally, I just make shit up as I go along. But I figured, do you know what? I'll try some good ones. And it wasn't a bad recipe, actually. They were quite nice. We had a little bit of batter left over, which Katie's enjoying now. So, yeah. Where's Dave? He should be here, but he is probably delayed by what's it called? His course. So his course finished at 8. Sorry?
I really thought you were going to say laziness.
I wouldn't put it past Dave. Oh, he says he's having a couple of technical issues and shouldn't be too long. So that's where Dave is. Technical issues. We've actually been having a bit of problems recently with Dave's connection. He keeps freezing and dropping out, and I think I'm gonna need to try and find some way of getting him a power line adapter or something like that, because it just doesn't seem to be working. But yeah. So there you go. And also, I suppose what we need to do before we go any further is I've got a couple of messages to play out. One of them came from a buddy of mine, John. Now, John, I met at a swimming pool. Logan was about 2 years old, if that, and his daughter was there. And obviously, as they do, they start playing with each other and jumping in from the sides. And we're both single fathers at the time, and he starts hitting on this girl, and he doesn't realise that his daughter's drowning. So I save his daughter and obviously hand her back, and we've been friends like since, so we don't see each other often. But he recorded this message for me with his tribe of about 90 kids, I think he's up to. Oh, it turned off, but that was a good start. See, Dave, you're not the only one having technical issues.
Lovely.
I mean, delightfully terrible. You got to love that shit. And of course, there was that one your lovely daughter sent to me as well. Where are you? I seem to have got so many. There you are. There you are. I get that one. This one's a video. I should have put it on the computer, really, but there you go. I'll hold it. Love it. I hope you thanked her for me.
Happy birthday as well.
Sorry, you cut out there, Chris.
I said all the others wished you a happy birthday as well. Kieran
Awesome.
made you a great promise to tell you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Hello, Dave. How you doing?
How's it going, Joe? Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, dude.
And Emma says happy birthday, too.
Oh, thank you, Emma. What about the dog? What did he say?
He said, fuck you, feed me.
That sounds about right. So, yeah, I'll catch up with the comments now that I've got a quick second to read. LB and Josh are in there, and they're having a little chat. And there you go. Yes, Dave is here, and you'll be back. You'll be back. Where are you going, LB? You can't go. You got to come on the stream with us.
Here.
So do you, Josh. Get your ass on here. Opie says he's going to try and get on as well today, but he had a foot of snow overnight.
Nice.
Yeah, which, I mean, in some respects is absolutely lovely, but it obviously is a struggle for him to get home from work. Usually he doesn't get in until about 9:30, 10 o'clock our time. He might check out the stream on his way home, like via his phone or something like that. But generally, he can't get in. We're actually having Opie on taking us through naturalism on Thursday. And is going to be going through the differences between methodological naturalism and ontological naturalism. I said both of them, Dave. I said both of them.
And we'll finally have a smart person on our stream.
Yeah, oh, man, that's just going to be crazy. He's just going to take over the stream, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
People be like, "Why are we going to watch those fuckers anymore? I can just going to go watch Opie." Mm. So yeah, the other purpose of tonight is to drink beer, or if I run out of beer, bourbon. My brother said they would try and check things out as well. They dipped in whilst I was having a mix, but my brother James is having problems with his dog where it keeps throwing up around the house. So he's trying to sort out what's going on with that first, which is fair enough.
Relatable. Also,
Uh,
Chris's kitchen is making me very. Kristen's kitchen is making me very hungry.
It wouldn't if you were here. I'm a terrible cook.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You've been experimenting a lot, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not actually as bad as I make out, but the lower the expectation, the greater the reward.
Yeah,
That's the
definitely
one.
agree with that. But it can't be so low that people just don't want to eat.
Yeah, but then that saves him money.
But that's true. Unless he charges people to eat.
It saves her money. Sorry, I'm not quite awake yet.
Yeah. So it's your turn to fuck up this week. I've done it the last 2 weeks.
I blame Joe. It's
Yeah.
drunk by association.
Well, I actually waited until I started mixing to have my first drink today. Usually, I'd on birthday day, I wake up and have like a beer or a cider with breakfast. One year, I opened a bottle of champagne with breakfast, which I tend to do at Christmas Day. But one year, I won a competition at work and got a bottle of Moe just for writing some random shit. And I ended up not drinking. I'm not a big champagne drinker, so I ended up saving it for 2 years, and then I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to open it today. Because I hadn't had anything like sort of worthy of celebrating in that time. That's kind of disappointing, isn't it? 2 years go by without anything worthy of celebrating, so I drank it in my pants on my birthday.
Welcome to my life.
You've had plenty to celebrate. Excuse me. You've had plenty to celebrate. You got your masters through, and you started your new course.
True.
Yeah,
I get money tomorrow.
exactly. Winning all around. Josh says he's making food for the kids right now, but he'll try to jump on in a bit. That's awesome. I hope you can. Understand if you can't do. There's no requirement to. It'd just be nice to have you on here with us.
Put them in a pit and throw some uncooked steak in the middle.
Jump on until about 1:30, but I wanted to make sure I came on to wish you a happy birthday properly.
Thank you very much. It's been a bit shit the last year, having been stuck in lockdown for pretty much all of it. And even when they relaxed, we've tried to be really, really sensible and not see anyone or anything like that. But it means that we haven't.
We've got to make up for the fuckwits who are going out like normal during lockdown, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, I know we don't necessarily do much, but we didn't do our Air Founders meet up last year. We haven't been able to do it this year. You know, we haven't had our usual stuff because obviously last Christmas Katie was pregnant and stuff like that. So we sort of like, oh yeah, we'll wait to the new year. And then the new year comes around and it's like, nope. And then the entire year's gone by. We haven't been able to do it this Christmas because lockdown, etc. And, you know, we don't know when we're going to be able to do it. But hopefully when I get my new house and all of that sorted and we will hopefully be able to actually have a massive meetup because I'm moving closer to everyone in a way. I'm going left a bit on the country, west. I still don't think of things in north, south, east, west. I struggle with that. I don't know why. I almost always have to do the never eat shredded wheat to work out which one's which.
Yeah, I do occasionally get east and west muddled up nowadays, but I never used to.
Ah, sign of your old age.
Yeah.
Josh has invited us over to his place as well. So forever in Colorado.
Well, now that Trump's not there, it seems like America might be a country worth visiting.
We'll have to see what happens over the next year, though, I reckon. See if
Well,
there's
yeah,
any
with China invading them and all that.
I mean, I'm more worried about any more insurgencies or anything like that, but I also have a couple of cards and presents, and because I haven't been able to open them with people, I figured I'd open them online. Now, the first one I actually opened because I couldn't wait. I figured I'm going to open one present today. And I luckily chose the right one. It was a set of headphones that work really well with the turntables. They're Sennheiser HD 25s. I forgot to flip my screen back round. Never mind.
I've heard of those ones.
Sorry?
I've even heard of those ones.
Oh, they're very, very, very nice. They were one of those things that I put in my wish list because I was thinking, do you know what? If I really get into my DJing again, which I have been enjoying, and I sort of set up a better sound system, I'm going to need something better than these. Plus, these actually have started to break, so flipping them back from the sound card to the turntables, I needed a set of headphones. But I was so surprised that they came in the mail. I was like, wow, that is really nice of her. I've had a few vouchers come through. So from my sister-in-law and mother-in-law and things like that. Also, John Buck. So he's someone that we know through Twitter. Randomly sent me a $20 voucher to use on Amazon as well, which was like,
Nice
whoa.
one.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all. That was like, he doesn't know me from Adam. And that's actually somewhat funny if you're from the UK because there was the Adam and Joe show. But yeah, most people didn't get that one. It wasn't very funny anyway, so don't worry about it. But yeah, that was really, really, really generous of him. He just asked me for my email address, and I thought I was going to send me an article to review or something like that. And I was like, well, if you're putting it into a site, use this one, or if it's just for something personal, send it to this one. And yeah, all of a sudden I got that. So that was very, very nice. I did not expect that at all. So thank you very much, John. And then I've got a couple of other bits, and I wanted to know if I should send my brothers a message and find out if they're actually on the stream before I do the presents. Let me say, you watching yet, bitch?
How dare you?
Yeah. Where's the other one? Oh no, hang on. Sorry about that. I'll put it in my fan chat. About to open the rest of them if you're on. But yeah. Trying to keep up with absolutely everything. So I will open a couple of presents and cards and things like that. I'll open the things that I know aren't from them. I reckon this one's from the mother-in-law. Old Debs. And it says, here's to the birthday beer, sip, sip, hooray. I'll drink to that. Oh, banging, another Amazon voucher. I love them. Oh, that one's from James. So that is my brother-in-law. That's banging. Thank you very, very, very much, James. Oh, do you know what? I've got so much stuff on my wish list that I will never buy for myself because I can't justify spending the money. That with that, I am very, very, very happy.
That's the thing I love about Christmas is I finally get to whittle away at my Amazon fucking wish list.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? The thing is, I mean, with money, you almost go, oh well, I should put that towards bills and things. But then when it comes to if you give me a voucher, I have to use it on that. I'm like, brilliant. That's actually better because if I get money, I use it almost for sensible things. Hey Josiah, nice to see you, dude. That's the old Faithless Pheasant and Ben Lorden or Benjamin. He says, "Happy birthday, Joseph. Have you been on the beers all day as per your usual birthday?" See, I wasn't exaggerating that's what I usually do. No, Ben, this is only my second beer. I started when I started having a mix earlier. I figured that I would try and maintain some sort of sensibilities, and people can progressively watch me get drunker on stream instead. Thank you very much, Josiah. Yes, getting sensible in my old age. It's not because I'm actually that sensible. It was just because it's lockdown. That's it. And I'm doing a stream. If I wasn't doing a stream, I'd have been pissed all day. So, yes, this is from the mother-in-law and father-in-law wishing me a happy birthday from Debbie and Ray. And banging. I am going to be able to clear that bitch down.
You've got a 3D printer on your wish list, yeah?
Yeah, I think they're kind of expensive still, aren't they, Chris?
They pissed me off because I had one on my wish list that was on offer. And then after Christmas, when I had some fucking vouchers, it went up 150 quid.
Oh,
Gutting.
yeah.
Have you used Camel?
You told me about that before and said that it wasn't doing anything during
It's working
pandemic.
again. It's working again. Camel's a site that you basically find products that you want on Amazon. You put the link in, you go, and it will tell you what its highest and lowest has been for a particular product, and you can put in notify me when it gets to X price. Most of mine, I have it notify me when it gets below the lowest price it's ever been, because I'm a tight bastard. I mean, I generally can't afford anything. Pretty much all of the money goes into the house at the moment, which is the main reason we're selling the house. We can't afford it anymore. That's what happens. So, but it's a brilliant site because when that happens, you suddenly get those deals. You're just like, yes. But yeah, fantastic little site though. It's a great way to just
Get cheap alcohol.
Well, that's a good idea. I haven't used it for alcohol. I tend to put things like graphics cards in there and Amazon Fire Sticks and like Echoes and things like that. I've managed to get a couple of the large Echo shows when they've dropped down to sort of like 60 quid or less. And they're brilliant for what they are. I really enjoy them. But yeah, one of the things
I
sorry.
was planning on getting the fourth generation dot. No,
Mhm.
not the dot, the normal Echo. Because I wanted a better speaker in the fucking kitchen. And that's another one which went up by like 50 quid out of the sale the week that I had enough money to fucking buy it.
They just need to convert them into vouchers.
Got this Bluetooth Tron Smart thing. It's fucking awesome. That was like 50 quid off.
Nice. Yeah, I must admit, you can't have a kitchen without a speaker in it.
No.
It's when the speaker's not on, I find that I end up singing more. So it's advisable, if I'm ever in your kitchen, to turn the speaker on unless you want to hear me singing.
I have a computer set up in the kitchen. So I either have to sing or end up watching fucking serial killer documentaries on Netflix while I'm cooking. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I'm not convinced.
Depends what you're cooking.
Tip, a big change in the ingredients I use, but I have people walking past a few times.
Yeah, the other day I was being a bit more silly than usual, and I was saying to Katie, we should try and say everything that we have to say, we've got to try and turn into a song. So you have to do like a 4-line song. And I had the kitchen window open, and the next door neighbour walked by and dropped something off through my window and was like, "We can all hear you out on the street." Like, sorry. Should be used to it by now. You've been living next to me for 4 years.
You've seen how my kitchen window is like 3 foot away from a pathway going down the canal, haven't you? So
Yeah.
there's always cyclists, dog walkers, and joggers, and I get some very funny looks while singing, and it only makes me louder.
I bet.
Like, I know damn well I cannot hit the notes, and I do not care. You care a lot more than I do, stranger.
That's the way to do it.
There is a reason I wasn't the lead singer of Linkin Park. I will demonstrate to people quite happily.
Ben, actually, sorry, Ben, if you're still watching, you should jump on the stream with us, and we should do our rendition of In the End. I don't know if I've told you before, but I used to do like an online radio show, and it was mainly focused around unsigned artists and independent artists, but we also played quite a lot of metal in general, and punk and stuff like that. I would play a little bit of a drum and bass here and there, and trance, but from signed artists. But the main focus was the independent artists. Regardless of what genre they did, hopefully they were good. We'd also do a top 10 called the Cunt Down, where we would choose a particular site, do their top 10 of the week, and we would give them probably harsher reviews than they deserved. Even when they were people that we liked, it was it actually made it harder when they were the people that we liked. So it was really hard, because it's like, that anonymity allowed you to be a little bit more of a dick. You know, when you suddenly there was an artist there that you actually really got on with and you enjoyed chatting to, it made it a little bit harder to be objectively cuntish. But one show we actually did, Ben and I, we got really, really, really drunk. And in the end, yeah, I did the rap and he did the chorus. And yes, you're right. It wasn't very melodious. Actually, you did all right. Actually, we used to as well do these little videos that I put up on one of my YouTube channels called Driving with Ben, because every time we went to the gym together, we turned the tunes up and we sang along to a tune. And they were awful as well, but like, we enjoyed it. So we figured, not only are we enjoying what we're doing, we're torturing everyone else with our singing.
Do you like the hipster version of James Corden?
No. Sorry.
He does singing with celebrities thing, doesn't he?
Oh, in the cars and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I have seen that a couple of times. Yeah, well, advertised, not actually seen it.
A couple of them are quite good, depressingly.
But, you know, he got the idea from us, basically. He watched our YouTube channel and he was like, guys, I'm stealing your idea because you haven't patented it. So, you know, fuck you guys. Yeah. That's how most comedians work, isn't it?
Yeah. Steal shit from you.
Yeah.
Not just YouTube in general. It is specific.
Yeah. They take my really terrible jokes and actually make them funny. Because I've got great ideas but terrible execution.
Yeah, I'm not good at either. So,
Josh asks us, what is our death row last meal? Can I have a potion of invulnerability?
I was a pound of Semtex.
A pizza with gluten in it.
Dave actually given a sensible answer, because Dave cannot have the gluten at all. Yeah.
Actually, normally like a week before the execution, so you'd still suffer.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was like a couple of hours.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
So your last meal's a week before.
Hostage.
Yeah, actually, no. Can I eat a human? Would that be something I can do?
That's why I wanted the hostage.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to try what it's like to cook and eat a human. I wouldn't do it for obvious reasons, but I'm interested, and this is one of the things I'm interested about with the lab-grown meat, because surely we can take cells from humans and recreate human flesh, and we could cook and eat humans.
It's been my argument all along, because anything that you can take a fucking biopsy from, I want a fucking panda burger.
Oh yeah.
A fucking,
I'd love to try it. Sorry, Chris, we lost you there.
like a fucking leopard stir fry or something. Like, I want to try all of this shit. I would not eat a leopard or a panda now. But if it's grown in a lab, fuck yeah.
Yeah. We wouldn't touch it for moral reasons, but if the option came up...
Well, you say I
Sorry?
quite happily eat one. All options or not. It's all subjective.
Well, if you're in a restaurant and you see it on the menu, it's already dead. You might
Exactly.
Well, to be fair, there's this African restaurant up in Camden, and there are lots of things on there that you wouldn't usually try, like springbok and alligator and zebra and stuff like that, and ostrich. And they are all surprisingly really tasty. I think my favourite was actually the springbok. So, yeah.
I've had ostrich. It makes a very good curry.
Oh, I've not had it in a curry. I bet that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice bit of meat. There are definitely, I mean, I'd love to travel a few different countries, having some really, really weird things that, you know, are quite common out there. But still, when it's an endangered species like that, hi Heather. But yeah, I would love to try a lot of these things. But I wouldn't do it because they are sort of, you know. Sorry, I just had to stop the turntables. Realised that they were still going. Endangered species, etc. If we allow too many species to go extinct, we'll end up going extinct. So, even if we were to take that from it, it's survival for our species to let these other species live.
Surely there is an argument to be made that if we did eat, say, pandas, there would be a lot more conservation just in farming them. There end up being more pandas because of supply and demand.
Well, I've made that same argument about, you know, if everybody became vegan, what would happen to all the animals that are actually farmed? Because they're so used to being in captivity, would they be able to survive if we just suddenly released them all? And in fact, would we just release them all, or would we just kill off all the stock and go, fuck it? And then you've got a few bovine species around that are wild, but in general, you wouldn't have them. So there is a certain part of farming that actually keeps these animals alive. And you think about zoos as well. Most zoos, especially things like London Zoo, I really don't like. But when I went to the zoo in Chichester, it was amazing. It was so open and all these animals were running free and wild. And the only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that some of these creatures were obviously supposed to be in warmer areas. And, you know, it gets to the cold months in the UK and they're not going to be happy. I mean, I'm not happy being in the UK.
With zoos and stuff, I quite like the attitude that Marwell, which is the one down by Winchester, the attitude they take is they only have endangered animals that they're helping breed a larger stock of. So trying to get animals out of endangerment.
It's interesting, actually. Because obviously,
I think they did go back on that a little bit eventually with some penguins and stuff, but largely it is only endangered animals.
Well, I was talking to Katie about actually going to that zoo the other day because we're buying a house in Bournemouth, and we went and checked out the house, and we went past and I went, Marwell Zoo. I know that for some reason. Maybe we've had that conversation before because it rang a bell.
I used to go there probably like once a month when I was a kid. It's where my grandparents used to take me all the fucking time. And it's great. It's also, you know, the film Fierce Creatures?
With
Please.
John Cleese, yeah.
That was filmed in Marwell.
Oh, was it? Ah.
Yeah.
God, I couldn't tell you anything about that film talking about it, but was that after Fish Called Wanda?
Yes. Believe.
Yeah. I remember that much, but that's about it. There was a plane. That might have been Fish Called Wanda.
It might be the one where they had a fake animal in a cage and people cottoned on, but that might be something else again.
Josh has another question as well. If you could make the atheist community stop saying one thing, what would you pick? I only can pick one thing. One thing. Josh, come on. Chris, I'm gonna. Josh has probably heard Dave and I rant on about a number of things we disagree with in the atheist community. Being atheists ourselves, all three of us, we definitely have issues, and often Dave and I actually get called theist trolls because we call out other atheists on these things. But for you, Chris, what is one thing that you would say you want other atheists or to stop saying?
For fuck's sake, that's not an easy question. Written a fucking article on it, for Christ's sake.
You did.
Yeah,
So Chris's article was called "Which Atheist Arguments Should We Stop Using?" and I've actually followed up since then. That was a few years ago you wrote that, and I did one called a series called Bad Atheist Arguments. I think I've released 4 articles, and I've got another 2 that are just not quite long enough to release, and I need to find a few things. I've also written a number of other articles that probably fit into that as well. But come on, Chris.
Hang on. You carry on vamping a minute. I'm going to find my article.
And you're going to find one from that.
Actually, I want to see if I scan through that, there's something that suddenly jumps out that I didn't include.
Interesting. I mean, a lot of things have happened from there. I think in the first article I wrote on the bad atheist arguments was Chris has covered off a lot of points. Some of them I don't actually hear atheists doing as much as I used to. Others still continue. So I'm going to focus on the ones that I keep hearing. Dave, though, whilst Chris is having a look, is there any that you can think of? Top one, your top pick. You've got to pick one thing. So whatever you pick, I'll try and pick something else. It's really hard to pick difficult. One, isn't it? One is really difficult because there's so many things I wish we wouldn't do.
I wish they would stop making the etymological fallacy.
Yes, that's a really, really, really good one.
Yeah.
Well, hang on a second, Chris. Whilst you've got that, Dave, explain what you mean by the etymological fallacy and how it is applied and what you think they ought to do instead.
Okay, the etymological fallacy is saying that a word means such because its root like atheos is without gods. So saying that it must be defined that way is an etymological fallacy. And the reason I wish they would stop saying it is because in Greece at the time, that's not quite what the word meant or how it was used. And as many argue, for every other kind of word, usages change. So saying it only means X because of the etymology of the word is just bad argument.
The same can be said for the word agnostic as well, without knowledge. I mean, that is not the use of the word. There's more context to it. So you're very right. I mean, I've addressed this particular one in a number of articles. I think you have as well, Dave. So and we've addressed it so many times on Twitter and things like that. And it's one of the ones that often gets called theist trolls.
Yeah, it was either that or stop playing fallacy bingo.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. Chris, have you remembered yours?
Yeah, it's one from the article, actually, which I'd completely forgotten about.
Mm.
And it's one of the one which is just fucking absurd. And it's, why are Adam and Eve painted with belly buttons?
Yes, very good one.
Painters used models for their fucking portraits.
Yeah,
And the models had belly buttons. And also, the fucking painter from 1300 probably didn't know what a belly button fucking was anyway. And
yeah.
say it as if it is some great demonstrable proof that Adam and Eve, if they existed, were born from someone else. It's like, fuck off, please.
Yeah.
It's a really, 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 really good point. At the end of the day, they would have used their impression of what a human is. And what they knew of a human was they had this thing there. The navel, or whatever it was called at the time. It might not have even been called, I mean, the belly button's a relatively new term.
One would have thought.
Yeah. So that's really good. Oh, fucking hell. I would wish atheists would understand epistemic justification a little bit better. So, the burden of proof. Understand that it differs depending on the context. So if someone's making a claim, obviously your burden of proof is to prove it true. But if you hold a belief position, whether it is a positive belief or just a lack of belief, you still have to explain your reasoning and things like that. And shirking all responsibilities, going, I just lack belief, I don't have to justify myself. That is just one of those things. Oh, you're a dick. You are a fucking dick. That's instantly what jumps into my mind when I do it. I actually feel myself instantly feeling aggressive towards this person, especially if it's one person that we've tried to explain it to, and when we have a conversation, we don't get combative, or not intentionally anyway. We try and have a conversation with them, explain things to them in the way they deserve things to be explained to them. Ask them what their understanding is, provide links to various sources, and to have them go, no, well, I'm absent of all beliefs. No. And you're just like, you get into this denialist sort of behavior that just frustrates me so much. I think that's become a bit of a trigger for me. And I think part of the trigger, if I'm honest, is the fact that I frequently made that same mistake myself. And when I learned a little bit more and I realized I was wrong, I changed my belief. And so many atheists say they will change their beliefs when presented evidence, yet you have the conversation with them and you present them the evidence and they just reject it and don't change their belief. You're just like, seriously?
Meme, saw a wonderful meme a little while ago. So, woman saying her favourite ever experience online is saying about how it's been shown that people don't change their position when shown evidence. And somebody says, yes, they do. And she goes, but here are the papers which show that they don't. It's like, oh, I still don't accept it. I think they do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's perfect. It is. I mean, I understand it. Beliefs, even lack of belief, are quite ingrained into us, especially if they feel part of our identity. So I understand why they are hard to change, because there's part of pride and ego locked in. Shit, I have to admit I was wrong to move forward. So people almost enter this sunk cost. And they're just like, right, well, okay, clearly I am this smart, rational person, and anyone that disagrees with me is the wrong one. It's not me. It's not me. No, that evidence, don't accept it. No, no, not evidence, not evidence. And become really, 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 really defensive to the topic.
I would be able to say, "Oh, cool! I learned a thing."
Yeah, so would I. But I don't get me wrong. There are times when it takes me a while to come round to someone else's point of view as well. There are times when I feel very strong in my belief, right? And I try and take the thing of like, right, I'm still not getting this. I'm still not getting this. Please explain it to me a little bit more. That's the attitude I try and take with conversations, at least today. I'm sure if you go back 5-10 years in conversations I've had online, I was much more of a cunt. I fully admit that. But I try to be a better person as best as I can, and I try to learn as much as I can and realize that I really don't know as much as I thought I did, and I still don't know as much as I think I do. And I think that's the bit that we all need to take into account. None of us know as much as we think we do.
Study philosophy, you realize you barely do fucking anything.
There's that good quote, isn't it? Studying philosophy is basically knowing less and less about more and more till you realize you know nothing about everything.
Yeah.
Jump up, dude. But
oh, we lost you.
no, I am going to have to jump off now.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you for stopping by, dude.
Take it easy, Kristen.
I can't wait to be able to hang out with you again. We need to get back on the podcast as well and record a few more of those. I still need to release the ontology podcast that the video didn't record for because I'm bitter. But thank you for stopping by. Have yourself a good one, and hopefully we'll catch you soon.
Enjoy the rest of your day, dude.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
As it's just the two of us until more people jump back, I'll switch to
Just the two of us.
building castles in the sky. I don't know why I grabbed my boobs then. Oh, it's not working on that. I'll stay on the Discord share. We're in the different chat. My sci-fi ones is only when we're in the sci-fi chat room. This one's obviously available for anyone to join us. So anyone out there that does want to join us, then please feel free.
You broke it.
I need to work out a better way to do things than the way I've got them. And so Josh actually has another question, and he says, if you could spend a day with a philosopher, dead or alive, who would you pick?
One that could speak English. Modern English, too.
Okay, so that cuts out pretty much every philosopher.
Hi. All the greats, anyway.
So I'm going to go on that regard, Stephen Law. Just because I love Stephen Law's manner and the way he explains, the way he writes. The children book that he did that I got for my son, I fucking loved that book.
I give good recommendations.
You do give good recommendations. You do. And the fact that when I spoke about how much I loved his book on Twitter, he said thank you so much. And it was just like, oh, I didn't expect this guy to jump in and say anything of the sort. Like, it was just nice that he was so genuine and such a lovely guy. He didn't have to, and he even now, like, he sometimes interacts with my posts and things like that. And this guy doesn't have to. He's a fucking, I'm a layman who knows nothing.
He is just a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah. Josh says, though, if you have a translator, or let's take it one step further, you've got a universal translator like you have in Star Trek. where it doesn't matter what they say, you understand exactly what they mean. I bet a number of people out there are going Hegel.
Yeah, even Hegel didn't understand what he meant. Okay, I'm going to throw out one that's probably unexpected, but Shelley Kagan.
I have no clue who that is. Who is that?
Oh, he does a lot to do with philosophy of morals and, say, philosophy of death. He's just really sharp and really witty, and when he explains topics, he doesn't use fancy words. He gets to the heart of the point. He's just really good. And I don't know enough about him or his views, and I do keep meaning to expand my knowledge of him. But I would he's just such a personable person that it would be great to have a conversation with him.
Okay, so you've convinced me that this is another person I need to find time to check out. Dave, I don't have enough time in my day. Can you do my job for me?
Be a few years.
Yeah, you're doing a course now. Excellent. Dave can cover for me at WTW.
And you can do all my philosophy stuff.
As if. I couldn't pass a first year of a philosophy degree, even if I do more than T-jump. Sorry?
You could if you did the degree.
Oh, yeah, if I did the degree. But, I'm well aware of how much of a layperson I am. As much as I enjoy this stuff, I've actually said to Casey, I would love to actually have the opportunity to be able to step a little bit back from work and to spend the time studying something like this, because it is something I enjoy so much. And the conversations we have and the stuff I look into, and when I get an idea for an article, and I do spend the time researching as much as I can, and I think, fuck, imagine if I could actually do this and get something out of it at the end, as in the form of a degree. Now, I know realistically a philosophy degree just ends up being, an Uber driver, but that's not the point.
Studying for a computer science degree.
Yeah. See, but I'm sort of lucky in that regard. I'm already a programmer, so it would be being able to do that for fun. But imagine just being able to study because of the love of the subject, without the end goal of, well, I need to get a job as well. And that would definitely be something I would definitely get well into. Another subject that I used to really love at school is chemistry. I don't know why, but it's just definitely something I'd like to get into as well. Again, just because I really found it really interesting, all the different, but if you get to a really high level of science, they go, it's all physics anyway. And I didn't really like physics, which is odd because I liked maths. So I don't know. So my brother's told me that he's actually watching, so I'm going to open the present he got me. I don't know if both of them. So this one is from James and Sophie. He says, as soon as we're out of this lockdown, we can celebrate together. Hope you have a cracking birthday. Yes, James, I think that you should most definitely come round. I have a raclette, and I still have half of my wedding cake left, so we should have a fondue night and steak. And if it's nice enough, I mean, shit, by the time we actually come out of lockdown, I'll probably have moved down to Bournemouth, and you shall be able to join me. And, oh, what's that say? It's, okay, they put a packing slip in for the gift bag. How random is that? And banging, Woodford Reserve. Now, this is possibly my favourite bourbon. I've got two favourite bourbons, and they are Buffalo Trace and Woodford Reserve. And they are bourbons that I've actually never been able to say whether I like them best or not. Like, they are Just sometimes I'm in the mood for one or the other. Now, I find Woodford Reserve is a little bit thicker, so usually needs an ice cube, whereas Buffalo Trace doesn't need it, although I'll sometimes put it in if the temperature of the room is particularly warm. But absolutely banging. It's almost like everybody knows my entire life revolves around Amazon and booze. So I'm going to pour myself a glass of this now. And actually, I should say, these glasses are something my brother Alexander bought me a couple of Christmases ago, and they're absolutely banging. And they're, well, it's probably about 4 Christmases ago now. And to date, only one of them has got a tiny crack in it, and it wasn't even me that did it. See, I do respect some things that are nice. But cheers, James. Thank you very much. And Sophie, of course. Sorry. John, how you doing, dude? I haven't spoken to you in ages. Packing slips are essential for good gift back administration. I don't know if my other brother Alexander is watching, but he says, "Happy birthday. Hope you have a lovely day. Looking forward to catching up soon." Now, Alexander has this year started his 2 years of being in a hospital. So he did 3 years of a medical science degree and then done his actual doctorate to become a medical doctor. And he's been there for 6 months or so now. So proud of his progress and what he's done. Bloody amazing. I mean, here's me who dropped out of school and just happened to get lucky because he found out he liked programming and worked his way up the chain. And as a guy that did not only because he didn't get good enough grades originally, he did a degree to be able to do another degree. I mean, what a machine. Yeah, what a machine. Though I said the same thing about you the other day, Dave. You're a bit of a machine doing machine learning.
What he did was way harder than what I did.
Oh, although one thing I did notice in the box that came in, it said present for the 50th birthday, and I thought, you bastard.
3 years old as me.
I was joking today that I was Steve McRae's twin. Because his birthday was on the 14th.
Oh shit, I missed that.
Yeah.
I haven't been online much, so...
No, I've noticed that. You're a hard man to keep a hold of at the moment.
Yeah.
To keep a hold of, to keep in contact with is what I meant. But you know, you are also a hard man to keep hold of.
That's because I'm fat.
But that means you're warm and cuddly.
Yeah, you can't get your arms around me.
You don't know how long my arms are.
You look like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, so probably not that long.
I am a short ass. At the end of the day, I do not have much reach. This is a fancy box.
It's a piece of dog poo. All that wrapping and unwrapping and in a box, and it'll be a smaller box.
Oh, banging. So, it looks like it's a compliment to James's present. James, did you communicate with Alex about what you were getting? Because he has bought me a very, very nice whiskey glass.
Nice.
And what seems to be a decent deck of cards, but I'm having trouble getting into the plastic. And on it says, "I have never in my life seen a Kentuckian who didn't have a gun, a pack of cards, and a jug of whiskey." Well, I'm basically that. Oh, it's whiskey stones as well. These are fucking cool. So, I mean, you put these in the freezer, and you put them in in your glass, and they keep it cool, but they don't dilute your whiskey. So, like I was saying with the Buffalo Trace, I like it to be cooler. But I don't necessarily need it to be diluted. This is absolutely perfect for Buffalo Trace. When it comes to Woodford Reserve, a cube of ice, I think it is apt for it. And look, they've got their own little bag, so I can keep it in. Thank you very much, Alexander. So I think I've done fucking well this birthday. It's I've probably done better than many birthdays past. I feel very privileged, especially with the fact that I'm stuck on lockdown. We've had so many like times where we haven't been able to see each other and things like that. And I've had so many presents today, like way more than I usually get. And really like expensive, like high quality gifts as well. So and people that like I said earlier with John Buck getting me that gift, he didn't have to do that, you know. Really fucking appreciate that. So thank you everybody out there who has got me a gift or wished me a happy birthday or is even just watching the stream. I tell you what, if there is one more thing I could ask for my birthday is that you like and subscribe on the videos on our channel, because every subscription that you get helps us, you know, build our presence and get out there to more people. And it'd be really appreciative if you could do that to us on YouTube. Also, if you're a Twitch user, if you could like our or subscribe or follow or whatever it's called. I get so confused with all these things. They all have the same thing, but they do it everywhere. I've actually given ourselves tonight is new members by the end of March. So that's either on Twitch or on YouTube, 100. Now that is a big ask, because that is a month and a half to get almost as many subscribers as we've had in the last 6 months. So that is going to be, I expect us to fail that one. I expect us to, but based on how things have been going, we've also got another target on YouTube of getting up to 1,000 subscribers by roughly this time next year. Which, again, if any of you can share and get your friends to give us a subscription, even if they then mute us, it just really appreciate it, just to get our names out there and get people to chat us. Obviously, this isn't our normal style stream. We are philosophy-based in general, with a bit of science and psychology. I know you could regard psychology as a soft science, but I'd like to be explicit. But yes, we've just had a message from Opie. He says he got off work late and hopefully he'll make it in time.
Nice one.
Yes. I hope you can get here too, Opie. I will hopefully see you very soon. Ben, yes, you're right. There is quite a theme with these presents. As I said, people seem to know that I like booze and Amazon. Josh, air whiskey glasses. Now that's something. The only thing is, generally, whiskey glasses are quite clear, aren't they? I mean, we've got this one, and we've also got this one. I mean, this one, blimey, can you imagine me filling a glass of this up? I'd be fucked.
Yes, I can imagine you filling that glass up. Like you said, there's a theme to the presents.
Well, you know what? In preparation for today, right? Not only did I not drink all day, but I didn't have a drink for 2 days, right? The fact that that's an achievement should actually be worrying. It's not to me. Though one thing I will say is the fact that I've had a couple of beers does mean that, unlike normal streams, I actually need to duck out and have a quick wee. So I'm going to put us on Be Right Back for a couple of minutes whilst I wee and get my last 2 beers.
Oakley.
What am I going to do today, man? Oh,
hello,
give a bicycle. You guys have some great ideas. What to do.
How's it going? Good.
Good. Just got done with the workout. I'm ready to go to work here in probably about an hour.
Hey, yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, man, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, how's it going, bro? How you feeling?
1400 to 2 in the morning.
Say,
bloody hell.
me too, man. Me too.
I can't even
I'm
stay
so
awake
bored
that
out of my
long.
mind,
I won't work that
man. We
long.
gotta hook up. Wait, what happened to you yesterday, man? I thought you
I
were
was like
coming
treating your
round.
good self.
I didn't do nothing much. In fact, you wanna know what I done yesterday? I'll rap that shit to you right
Everything's
now.
going well.
You know, I open my eyes and what do I
you
see?
guys up
It's
to?
a big Jimmy Bifter staring back
doing
at
the
me.
same
I
thing,
put it to my lips and the taste is sweet. And I heard my
Joe's
brothers
just
rocking
gone to
out
the
to this
toilet. You
beat.
jumped on it
I
just the
closed
wrong
my
time.
eyes, then rose from my seat. And I had to venture forth to find some lunch to eat. And I stopped off in their room and they looked at
How was
me.
classes?
I'd
When did they
forgotten my
start up?
pants and I thought I
last
felt free.
week.
So after I recovered, then they passed me the zoo. I put on some pants and I had another two.
It's going
I
pretty
grabbed
well.
up some lunch and I gel back my
Still
hair. And I
waiting
went
on
down to
the
Oxford to
results back
check
from my
the girls
first
there. But all I see was classic Christian and James. Cause this is Oxford and it's always the same. Popular for jabs, but that's its only fame. And the mental little bread that we all know is fame. We got to in the mall with one fucking screen. Uncomfortable seats and they're never ever clean. And everything is closed by 10:30. So we sit around bored and we smoke another bend. We could take a train and we could leave this place, but it would cost a fucking lot and it's the last train race. The underage just to hang around in mates, waiting for some drink so they can get paid. Yo, abide, what the fuck you think you're doing with your fucking life? Yeah, abide, yeah, you tried. You did your fucking best, but in the end you still died. Yo, abide, 99 coins and you lost your last life. Hey, abide, oi, abide, that's what we call a hazy green line. I linked up with Christian and chatted about beats. I chatted about ganja and I chatted about the streets. I chatted.
Oh, we're back.
Hello, drunkie.
Hey, and Josh is here. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? Just wanted to call and say happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much. How you doing?
Good, good. I was just telling Dave and just got done with my workout, getting ready to go to work in about an hour.
Oh, you're on the night shift.
Yeah,
Ouch. Oh, man.
that's all right.
How's work going
Hopefully
at the
it's
moment?
slow like the last couple of night shifts I've worked. I can work on reading some more Hume. Try not to fall asleep.
Nice.
How you getting on with it?
Not too bad. I haven't been able to read much in the past couple of days because I've been watching the kids and older philosophy and trying to keep track of a 5 and a 3-year-old and an 11-month-old doesn't mix very well.
No, that's why I don't have any kids. Philosophy first.
But what if philosophy led you to believe that you should have had kids, Dave?
Well, then I'm fucked, aren't I?
Speaking of kids, we were actually going to do a little episode on antinatalism at some point, weren't we, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. It's one of those things where I only really know the surface elements to antinatalism. But it'd be interesting to hear some more of the advanced arguments for and against.
Well, I'm guessing Josh doesn't follow antinatalism.
No,
Yeah.
Kids.
Not so much.
although, to be honest, after having 3 kids, you might. Yeah. So how's work been going though? Has is COVID affecting you massively? You said you've been a bit quiet the last couple of nights.
Yeah, things have actually been a lot better here, at least in Colorado. We haven't had anything. It got a little crazy around Christmas, but it's really died off through January, and it's starting to go back to where we were at like in August when it died down again this summer. So yeah, we only see like a handful a day get admitted, and I think the mortality rate's down a ton, and our positivity rate for our county is like 5% or something, and in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it peaked around like 25%, so it was pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, things are a lot better, at least where I'm at.
Oh, that's good. It's definitely one of those worrying things where I mean, we've got a couple of strains over here which are very, very worrying. We've even had that South Africa strain sort of come over to us now, which has, got a bit of a higher mortality rate and stuff like that, and higher infection rate. And they think that it's also going to be a little bit more resistant to the vaccine, whereas the Kent one, so that was a new strain that appeared in Kent, where it was more infectious. It seemed to respond the same way to the vaccine. The other problem that we've got over here as well is the lag in getting the second dose of the vaccine. They're basically doing them 12 weeks apart. And it's like, well, no, it should be like 2 weeks apart, not 12.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it
you
should
know
be
more
21
about this shit
days
than
is
me.
what the
21 days, is it?
Yeah, 21 days is, yeah, that's what they did the studies. And then you get max, you reach your peak immunity after 28 days. So a week after you get your second one.
It's still so crazy how it affects people so differently as well. Like my sister-in-law actually got COVID. She's a nurse in a hospital. Ironically, when she was working on the COVID wards, she didn't get it. But when she went back to her normal ward, she actually caught COVID. But for her...
Yeah, it's probably because you're not being as careful.
Exactly. She did... Well, they don't have as much PPE for people on the normal wards as they do on the COVID wards. But for her, the worst thing she got was migraines and basically a little bit of a cold. My mum... She's in her 60s. She actually went into hospital with a suspected stroke, ended up catching COVID in the hospital, and got no effects. She was completely asymptomatic. I mean, she still had COVID. She could still pass it on, but she was completely asymptomatic. It wasn't a stroke either. They still don't know what it was. She just has lost pretty much all feeling from her rib down on her right-hand side. But she's okay. She's at home. She's getting better. She's got some of her mobility back, but she still doesn't have the feeling back. But then a family friend on Katie's side is a guy, he's 47, but he is hench as fuck. I mean, I look at him and I go, fucking hell, it's the UK version of Arnie. And he caught COVID and he was out in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. So many times he almost died. He also got pneumonia along with COVID and things like that. It was absolutely crazy. And then there was also... my friend's father caught it and he was in a coma for 2 months with it, and they didn't think he was ever going to wake up, but he did. But he's also got what they've started referring to as long COVID, where he's got the effects that have come after it. Before, I mean, he is an older gentleman, but he was still doing taekwondo and going for 10K what do you call it, cycles and runs and all of that, and he's having trouble walking up and down the stairs still. You know, it's absolutely amazing how debilitated it's got for him. This particular virus affects people in so many different ways, and you don't know which way it is going to affect you at all, and it is quite worrying, because one person could go, I'm all right with it, it's not a thing to worry about, and they could say that to a friend, and that could make a friend go, well, I won't worry about it either, and that could end up killing them or one of their family members through lack of care. Bloody crazy. Sorry, I got really serious for a birthday stream, didn't I? Oh, so how are the kids doing, man?
Oh, good. My oldest, Adam, he's 5. He's in kindergarten, and then it's 3. He's upstairs causing trouble, and my little guy, Clark, is 11 months old.
Oh, wicked.
So, yeah, so he's kind of scooting around and causing trouble and tearing things up, but they're great. It's so much fun to watch them grow up. How's yours doing?
Yeah, Ivy's doing great. Logan's all right. I had a chat with him earlier. He was talking to me about all the games, and he was saying he's found a few new games that he wants to play with me online and things like that. So I said I'd I'd have a look into them. Apparently he's suddenly got so much money that he'll be able to gift me games, and I'm like, don't worry, if it's a good enough game, I'll get it myself. Don't worry. Very nice of him to say so. But but Ivy's doing absolutely great. She's got into a few new words in the last few weeks as well. So she's been very, very physically sort of ahead of schedule, which has actually been a little bit frustrating because you can't communicate with her to tell her, no, you can't do that, because she doesn't get it. But I also think she's now at a point where she knows she can ignore us. She is going to be an absolute terror for the rest of our lives. But she's got a few new ones, and she's been telling us when she wants to be picked up. She goes up, 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 and it's really nice seeing how she's sort of developing like her language skills at the moment. But today, briefly, my mum dropped me the presents round, and something got knocked off, and my mum went, "Oh dear," and Ivy out of nowhere just went, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear," and she'd never said "oh dear" before. She'd said a number of different words, but it was just like she caught on this new phrase straight away. So yeah, it's really interesting watching how they work out these things. The thing is, I mean, I've moved my office into this room rather than being in the bedroom, and she is in that room right there. And I start having a mix basically when she goes to bed. We've definitely trained her well, because I have the speakers on like pretty much full volume, and she just sleeps through it all. It's like, yes, this is what you need to do with your kids. Make it fucking loud so that they sleep through anything.
Yeah, Clark had our kids used to sleep in the car or in the shopping cart, or they could sleep anywhere in their car seat. But Clark won't. It took him like a good month or two before he would even nap in the car, because he's a COVID baby. We didn't go anywhere. He was 3 months old before he ever got into a car seat.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy how he was born on St. Patrick's Day. So it was like right at the beginning when everything hit the fan. So it's going to be really funny to see how some of these kids grow up and like the differences.
No, that's definitely one of those things that I've noticed as well, is the fact that they haven't had the ability to go places and do things and interact with people in the way that normal kids would have, which obviously their social development is a little bit different, so they haven't had all the interaction with other kids that they might have at the odd play group or going to soft play or all the things that the other kids have actually done. But they've also had more attention from their parents. Just going to say, hey, LB, glad to see you back. LB, why don't you click that link and come join us in Discord? And you can actually have a conversation with Dave and Josh and me. Yeah, so the kids themselves, it's an interesting development. The other side is, obviously, I've been allowed to work from home this entire time. I know you haven't had that thing, but I've actually had the ability to be at home with my kid the entire time, which has been fantastic. Because obviously, like with Logan, I got to have a couple of weeks at home, as you sort of get as your parental leave. Oh yeah, you're a man, you don't get to bond with your child. Cue. This time
I got 2 weeks, which is kind of cool with our hospital.
But that's all you get as standard in the UK. You get 2 weeks. 2 weeks. How is 2 weeks enough to bond with your kid?
Yeah.
It's not really, is it? You just get to be this person that appears in their life occasionally. Whereas I've had the ability, and I've really appreciated this, and my work have been really supportive with it. And they've gone, if you're busy in the day and you need to have any support with your kids, that's fine. Just make sure you do your hours, but do them whenever you can. And I mean, that's fucking amazing. The company I work for have been so bloody amazing with absolutely everything and been so supportive. And we've had a number of different trials over the last year or so as well. And they've been spot on with absolutely everything. My boss is very, very, very understanding as well, especially with how much of a bellend I am. Like, and the colleagues that I work with, they're also bloody lovely. I've never worked in a company that's been quite as supportive as this one. But that aside, being able to be around my kid, and she'll pop in to my office, and she'll come and like there's a bed there, and she'll jump on the bed with me, and she'll jump on, and I'll throw her on the bed, and I'll be programming, I'll sort of a query, I'll set it to run to make sure it works, and then I'll chuck her on the bed, and I'll chat to her for a little bit, and I'll have a little playtime with her, and then I'll go downstairs and I'll be able to cook her lunch, or go for a walk with her, or have that little bit of extra playtime with her that I wouldn't have been able to have if I had been actually at work. And I don't think we realize generally as men in the situation how important that bit actually is. It's I mean, I suppose for you, because you sometimes work nights, you get that bit of extra interaction in the day with your kids that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were on a standard 9 to 5 day.
Right.
Although I imagine some of that time you're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And they don't let you, do they?
No, they don't give a shit.
And why would they? They don't have the understanding.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually grateful for COVID in that area. It has actually given me something that I wouldn't have been able to experience without it. And I mean, if we're looking at the positives of things, like for me personally, COVID has actually largely had a good impact, but there are a lot of negatives that have come off of it too, and I feel sorry for all the people that have had all the hardships, all the illnesses, all the deaths and everything. Loads of people have suffered from it. I'm just wanting to put out there that I really appreciate the things I've got from it,
yeah, the silver linings and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm fucking bored. I've gone stir crazy in this place. I'm a lot more aggy and snappy, and there are tons of negatives from my personal life as well as all the people who've had to deal with it. I'm just trying to say that it hasn't been all negative. I have had something that. Sorry.
I wonder what. No, I just wonder what the biggest positive from all of this is going to be. Do you think that most of these businesses are going to let people stay home and spend more time with their families, or do you think there's something else, like some other silver lining that we'll get out of this as like a society?
I think it's going to be a difficult one. I think a lot of companies who before, when people won't work from home, they won't be as productive, they won't do this. I've realised people are just as productive, if not more productive from home, especially in roles like mine. I know some roles they might not have been, but in roles like mine where we're programmers, and actually programmers, if they're left to their own devices, will just sit there and program. Whereas, in the office, there's other people there that might talk to them, and they might get involved in a conversation about some anime shit or some other geeky shit. That's what happens, and you get more distracted being in the office. You then consider that, let's just say we're as productive. You then consider the cost of an office. The office I worked in, I mean, my company currently has 45,000 people around the world. You consider how many offices there would be for a few thousand people in each location, and how much that would cost on the lease or the rent or the electric, the internet, and everything like that. A company cuts all of that. Imagine the profit they're making, realizing that people are about as productive at home. And they don't have to pay for their internet. and they don't have to pay for their electricity and all of that. Companies are fucking stupid if they say we want our employees to come back full time. From a business perspective. Yeah, that's another great point. We are generally happier. We would like a social every now and then. Let's have our team to, get together. There are obviously businesses that can't work that way. You think about hospitals and certain shops and things like that. They can't work at home, but certain businesses where you are doing things like programming or processing data, application forms and all that sort of stuff, I think there should be a change. And I think any companies out there who have any sort of business acumen will realise this. They will sell off their leases and whatever, or if they own the property, sell the property and convert it into flats, or convert it into the flats themselves, and rent it out and get extra money that way. That's what I would do. But there's obviously other factors in. There can sometimes be that if they are leasing something and they've got a 10, 20-year lease, they go, well, we've got the building, we can't do anything with it for the next 10, 20 years, so we may as well get people back into the office. I can understand that, but equally, there's tax breaks and things like even not having the electricity on. Okay, they're leasing the property, but they're not having to pay for the electric and the internet and things like that.
Sell the flats to the employees.
Yeah. That's an even better way of doing it. I hadn't even considered that. Cheap living to employees. Yeah, they convert the office into living spaces, and the employees get cheap living spaces, which means it saves the employees money for the time they work for the company, meaning that they're more inclined to actually work for the company. See, you're a genius. I hadn't even considered that.
That's the Chinese model.
Is it?
Yeah, I always thought they should do that with the shopping malls here in the U.S. because they're going out of business. Like, turn it into a small city.
Yeah, that could work. Because then you've got like little communes and you go, no one in, no one out. But actually, we've got our mini mart, we've got our clothes store, we've got this, and we've got all of our flats around. And everybody in this zone, as long as they don't leave this zone, is COVID safe.
Turn them into senior citizen centers.
Yeah, there you go. I got to sign off. I got to go get ready for work.
Dude, thank you so much for coming.
Shower.
Yeah. Honestly, absolutely fantastic to see you here. Really, really, really appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah. Love you guys. Happy birthday, Joe. Nice seeing you,
Thank you very
Dave.
much. Love you too. And I'll see you soon.
Mate.
See you later, guys.
Thank you as well.
Yeah, Josh is awesome. Josh is one of the favourite people I've met online that hasn't become part of Answered in Reason.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe how it's amazing how relationships can build. I mean, it was from a conversation I was having with him about morality, whilst I was learning more about morality myself. And please don't take that comment as me thinking I know everything about morality. I really don't. But I have a good understanding of various moral theories. And by good, I mean above the average person. And the average person has no understanding. But it was just such an absolutely lovely guy. I'm so glad that we met that guy and that we've had the conversations with him that we do. I'm so glad he had a chance to pop in and have a chat with us. So LB says he doesn't have Discord, but he'll be here soon. Sorry, man, winter here in Texas is not good. Well, I will say, you don't have to get it if you don't want, but Discord is free. So it doesn't cost you anything to have it. OP says it's difficult to be more productive at home being a machinist. Yeah, no, not every role will work being at home. That's what I was trying to convey. Like Josh, with what he does in the hospital, he couldn't work from home. But there are a lot of roles that do work well from being from home. Especially a lot of geeky roles, like a lot of the programmatic roles. We could even say school systems could work well being from home, but they require the parents to actually get on the case of their kids when they're not working. So that's a bit of a tough one. But there are roles, at least work roles, that do work from being home, from home. The dudes, I am pooped out, tired. 3 days of non-stop winter storms and tired. Had to help a friend's grandma out. Her power went out and rigged a generator out for her. That sounds like something I couldn't do even if I spent a week trying to learn how to do it. So, I'm tired trying to read what you just said right there. So, fair play, dudes. I mean, fuck off, have a beer, or come on air and have a beer with us. Like, tonight's not a serious stream. We're not getting into serious politics or anything like that. Like, but yeah, understand if you're too tired to join us. No worries. I must say, I'm coming to the end of my beers. This isn't good. I might have to switch to bourbon briefly.
Well, you got to conserve.
Yeah, exactly. I must say, I haven't actually had Woodford Reserve for about a year now. I might have had a little bit at my wedding, actually, which was last summer, so maybe half a year now. Blimey, is it good? I'd forgotten how much I'd like this one. You have bourbons, and yet you like, Jim Beam, but I'll mix it with Coke and it's all right. And then you have like Woodford Reserve and Buffalo Trace. It's just fucking hell. But equally, I still don't get Scotch.
I don't really drink except vodka, and that's only to get hammered and fall asleep.
What's your favourite vodka?
Well, I don't really have one, but I generally drink Smirnoff just because it feels that little bit cleaner and less hangoverish in the morning.
Interesting. The reason I asked is because I have a favourite vodka, which is Stolichnaya. And the reason it's my favourite vodka is because it's the only vodka that I seem to never get a hangover from, even when I drink a whole bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had that one yourself.
No.
When's your birthday?
I'm too old to remember.
I will send you a bottle for your birthday.
No worries. Yeah, no, I don't generally drink. I generally prefer weed, but with it being locked down, it's almost impossible to get. So,
yeah, that's fair enough.
At least around here, anyway.
Yeah, no, I understand that one. I mean, if you do want me to send you a bottle, though, I'm more than happy to. It's one of those ones. I mean, I've got a few Amazon vouchers, and I'm happy to spread the love.
You need to buy Oppie and Stephen Law books, though.
I could, but I'd prefer to, help out my friends and give them good vodka.
Well, there is a Stephen Law book come out recently that you might like.
Oh yeah.
I think it's How Not to Believe Bullshit or something like that. Not believing bullshit. I've not read it myself yet, but I'm thinking of picking it up now that I've actually got money for the first time in 6 months.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I like the way he writes, so I imagine that would be a very apt use of the money.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, wifey. You okay?
Hello.
Dave says hello. She asks if I'm drunk. I'd have
Never.
to say yes. Probably more so than usual. Yeah, Chris pops by earlier. Josh jumps in. We've got OP and LB in the chat room. My brothers were there earlier as well, and a few other people. There were more people whilst I was having a mix. They're more interested in the music side than me just chatting shit. We got lots of Amazon vouchers. So that one is from your mum. We got one from James as well, and obviously Char got me one. James bought me a bottle of Woodford Reserve. Alexander got me a whiskey glass and some whiskey stones. So yeah, basically everybody knows that I spend my life either drinking or on Amazon, and sometimes on Amazon buying alcohol. So I mean, I do buy music as well, but that's about it. I buy products on Amazon, products on Beatport, and alcohol. I haven't drunk that much. I drank far more on Saturday. Me a kiss. Have a good night. Love you. So, a few questions. In fact, I need to catch up with the chat. There's a few comments coming. It's suddenly flying. I look away from the chat for a second, and all of a sudden, there's guys. You know, why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Yeah, no, that's fine. LB, you don't have to come on stream with us. That's fine. I'm not telling you have to. I'm just saying you can if you want to. I would love to have you come on stream at one point and explain your deism in more detail. So at some point in the future, if you ever feel confident enough to come on stream and have that discussion with us, I would absolutely love it, because whilst I understand deism, I don't understand your deism, and I like to understand why people believe what they believe and why they believe it. And I'm not looking to change your beliefs. At the end of the day, you and I both know that we have very different ontological positions, and I'm happy to have the conversation about why we have those positions, but I'm not going to try and convert you, although you will be an atheist by the end of the show. OP, yeah, Stolly, that's what I call it too. Grey Goose, yeah, my buddy Ben liked Grey Goose. That was his go-to. Sobieski is good. Oh, I don't know that one, OP. I don't know if you even get that one over here. LB doesn't drink, sodas is his go-to. I mean, that's fair enough. You don't have to drink. I just enjoy it. I tend to, if I'm going to have a soda, go for a Pepsi Max these days, and usually in the form of a Long Island iced tea. What was the best day Katie and I had together? That's an interesting one, Josh. I would say it was actually our wedding day, because it wasn't the wedding day we planned originally. It wasn't any of the wedding days that we planned, but it was absolutely amazing. So originally, Katie and I, we're both a bit of beach bums, right? I know I'm a geek and I love my technology, but I also love the beach and the sea, especially the sea. I love swimming. I love being in the water. I will happily entertain myself throwing myself about in the water, jumping through the waves endlessly. I'm not the sort of person I ever actually saw getting married, but I figured if I ever saw myself getting married, where would it be? And it would be by the beach. So we looked at different options and we thought, do you know what? We don't care if people can't attend. We want the wedding we want. And if it's only us there, that's what we're going to do. But no matter what we looked at, it started getting more and more and more expensive. And eventually we were just like, okay, well, there's the local golf course and there's the local pub, and we will just deal with that. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll have. And then COVID hit and we were like, oh no, we can't even do that. We got delayed. And then eventually we decided to have the wedding. The restrictions were lifted a little bit. 30 people were allowed at the wedding, and then we had a barbecue back at ours. We didn't even have the pub bit where there were supposed to be 100-odd-ish people at the reception. And it turned out to be the best fucking thing ever. Katie and I don't necessarily like being the center of attention too much, and especially in things where we feel awkward about. So having it be a bunch of families come together and not be too many people was wonderful. And we really, 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 really enjoyed it. And it's one of the best days of my life. And I never thought I would say that. I'm generally quite I like to say realistic, but I'm generally pessimistic and negative, if I'm honest. But it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. I would love to have that day happen again and have all of the different families and family members there, especially the family members that are in Australia and New Zealand and all of that couldn't be there because of COVID. And even the ones in England that lived too far away to come, and our family in Scotland. I feel so bad for them. And we planned to have a party this year on the date to have it. All the people that couldn't be there. But because of this year and the fact that COVID's continuing, we don't know if we can even have those people there. But genuinely, I never thought I'd be the person to say this sort of thing that sounds so mushy, but my wedding day with Katie was possibly one of, if not the best day of my life. So carrying on with the questions and things like that. Dave, you say you don't live in Canada. You live in Wales. Yeah, but you did live in Canada, didn't you? Yeah. You haven't been there since 1985. Why do you still sound Canadian then, eh?
Because when you grow up with an accent, it never kind of leaves you.
It's true enough. I lived in America for a little while, and I actually picked up a slight twang, and I moved back, and I could never hear it myself because I still sounded very, very British in my head, but other people could hear how certain inflections had infected just from being in America. I was 18 months. And I
was
still...
there. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I was going to say I was there for like 12 years, so...
Yeah. And that's more than enough to influence the end result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could be worse. If I'd have stayed here, I'd be like, all right, kid. Yeah, all right.
Because you're in North Wales, aren't you? Because North Walians sound scouse.
Well, we would have been in Manchester because that's where I'm from originally.
Oh,
but here in
God.
Wales, yeah, here in Wales, it would be all right, cunt. Fucking hell, can't. Can
Whereas-
you imagine me with either of those accents?
No, I couldn't. But I would love it if you had the South Walian accent, because there's something so pretty about that. So, it's not red, it's dragon.
Very lyrical.
It's just one of those flowy ones, like the ocean. It's fantastic.
It is. That's why they have the Welsh Voice Choir and we have quarries.
Carrying on, Ben says, "Oh dear, is Mojito Joe coming out soon?" Ben, I haven't had any rum, so I doubt Mojito Joe will be coming out.
Yeah, leave it in your pants.
Yeah, Mojito Joe is the fun party time Joe that doesn't stop singing. And I know I sing a lot anyway. But I normal Joe will stop singing when someone says shut up. Mojito Joe just sings louder. LB says count on it, he will someday. So that's brilliant. I can't wait until you do join us. It'll be absolutely fantastic. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to learn more about it. So yeah, fantastic. Will you be an atheist, your ass? Jaw drop it if you met Ozzy or Oppie. Like, good lord, Ozzy, Oppie, what an honor. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I when we had Ozzy on, I never thought he actually would come on with us. I said it to him, almost being cheeky, going, go on, why don't you come and explain your position on our stream? And he said, yeah, go on then. And I was just like, the other night, I got a little bit drunk and I said, Ozzy, everybody loves you. They want you back on our stream. Like, come on our stream again. And he said, yeah, I'm happy to come back on, just as long as I can add something to the conversation. And I was just like, fucking hell. Like, wow. I now need to think of a topic that's brilliant enough to have such a brilliant mind on our stream.
What couldn't he add to? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ozzy would, as you say, would be able to add to anything. Fucking hell. Ozzy's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I really knew about Ozzy was when he responded to our first podcast. And I mean, our first podcast was such low quality. We weren't even really planning on recording that night. We were doing sound checks. Yeah. And we thought, fuck it, that was a good conversation. We'll upload it. And the quality was so terrible. But Ozzy responded, and it was just like...
The quality might have been terrible, but the quality of the conversation was excellent. I
agree. And so did Ozzy. And that was the bit that we were like, oh my God, fuck. Ozzy likes what we're saying. And that was probably one of the big inspirations for us actually continuing with what we were doing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that someone like Ozzy decided to actually respond, oh, look at that. Look at that down there.
That looks like OP.
It does look like OP. Fucking hell.
Hello, OP.
He probably can't hear us.
My mic is a little bit off.
Oh, I can hear you. You're a little bit quiet.
That's always what people say. I'm trying to speak as loud as I can.
Why don't you shout? Pretend that you're in an arena.
Hi.
Yeah, we're Brits. We're loud by nature, so.
Well, this is a good sound test then.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, to be honest, I've got some on the general audio. I've got some boosting, so we'll be able to hear you a little bit. I'll play this stream a little bit back, so when we plan for our Thursday stream, I might know if I need to boost it a little bit more.
Okay. Anyways, happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much, dude. Absolutely fantastic to have you here.
We just got a bunch of snow coming in overnight. Had to unbury my car.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, you were saying you got a foot of snow overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you're I mentioned to you earlier, you're in Chicago, not too far from where I used to live in Michigan, and the snow there was amazing. I absolutely loved it. So we used to get like about a foot of snow in the average winter, and then you'd actually go to the upper peninsula of Michigan. And I remember one time we went up there and we went for a snowboarding holiday, and my sister wasn't even a year old at the time, and she stepped out of this log cabin that we were staying in at the moment, and she just disappeared in the snow. She was just gone. It was hilarious. I mean, at the time she was obviously under the age of 1 or around that age. Yeah. But I can imagine living in and working in that situation. It's not exactly the same as being a kid, because I was only about 13, maybe 14 at the time.
Yeah, it was because there's a phrase we have. It's like, what are you going to do about it? You throw some salt down on the ground and you go to work, try to shovel out your car.
I tell you what, though, you guys out there are so prepared for snow. I mean, the second snow came down, you might have a day of school where you were like, no school today. But you guys would get the plows out, you'd get everything out, and people would get on their cars and they'd put chains on their tires and things like that. And a day later, everything would return to normal. Whereas over here, we get about that much snow and the world stops for about a week.
If somebody spills a bag of flour onto the ground, it shuts down.
That's sort of similar to like the southern states, because one, they don't have winter tires, and two, they don't have. We have like salt depots. They're like large teepees if you see near the highways, and we have salt trucks running like almost 24/7 when this happens. So
Kind
Yeah,
of what Canada was like.
yeah. I think that's the thing, though. When you expect that sort of weather, you're going to be more prepared for it. The thing is, though, the UK has had a lot of that sort of weather, but only for a short period over the last few years. I think we've been having some more extreme climate changes, haven't we? But still, no additional preparations have gone into those sort of things. Even the other day, we got snow. I mean, it was the first time in a couple of years, I think, we got proper snow. But we had a week, and it was just like, yeah, you can't move. You can't even walk down the pavement to get to the local shop without proper snowshoes, because they haven't sorted out the pavements and the roads and things like that. But yeah, I know it's nowhere near as extreme as it was out in the States. It's fucking crazy how it can be out there. The extreme weathers. So obviously, global warming isn't necessarily affecting you guys, but actually, what it does highlight is the effects of climate change, because global warming is talking about the net result. But when we talk about climate change, we're talking about individual aspects of the climate. And it seems to me that the hots are definitely getting hotter and there's more of them. But when we dip into those cold bits, it's definitely getting colder. How's it felt in your area? Has that been sort of how it's been as well?
So Sunday it was around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. You guys can do the conversion for yourselves.
No, the only conversion I can do is minus 40 Fahrenheit into Celsius, because minus 40 Fahrenheit is minus 40 Celsius.
So I know that 27 is close to our 70 degrees.
That's fair. Yeah.
So and your 0 is 32, obviously. So our 0 is, quite a bit of ways below zero for you guys. I mean, yeah. So
yeah, it's crazy actually. I it's one of the things I struggled with when I went to school out in America. It is the fact it was such a different environment and such different measurements. Because the UK, apart from when we're talking about speed on the road and our drinks, we're generally metric, but our drinks are still done in, at least in a pub, are still done in pints, and our speeds are still done in miles per hour. Pretty much everything else is metric. And going out to America, it's like, fuck me. Like, how do I deal with this? And people are talking about how it's 40 degrees, and I'm like, blimey, that must be so hot. And they're like, why do you think 40 degrees is hot? And obviously you're talking past each other because the default is I'm thinking in Celsius and they're thinking in Fahrenheit. But before you realise that there are still people that use an older measurement system, you're like, oh, well, everybody uses metric now, don't you? But actually, I mean, don't you in your work deal with a lot of metric units because you deal with a lot of science, don't you?
well, in the science, yes, we use a lot of metric, obviously, for like chemistry or for measuring bones. But over at the machine shop, it's mostly inches, unless we do some metric job.
That is very interesting. I would have thought that everything that you did personally, I know in your day-to-day life, it would have been Old English system, but I would have thought everything that you personally did in your day-to-day life would have been metric. It's like Josh as well. I mean, he works in a hospital, and he works on the pharmaceuticals. Everything he deals with is metric there, and the second he leaves the hospital, he suddenly has to adjust back to his Old English system as well, his imperial system. Yeah, I mean, that must be really confusing for you, jumping back and forth between two systems, especially in your day-to-day role.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier because when we're in a machine shop, it's much smaller increments of inches. It's thousandths of an inch. So we can run decimal changes and it makes it a lot easier because then it's like, 25 4, for a centimeter. And then you can just bring that back up times it. You move the decimal place for that then.
Fair, yeah, no, that's fair. It's interesting thinking about it in those terms as well. Then they're not terms that I think about inches in my head because I tend not to think in inches either. So talking about decimals of inches, it's like metrics of inches, metrics of imperials. What? It comes completely natural to you. To me, I go, oh, fuck me.
So a computer paper, just standard A sheet of paper is 4 thousandths of an inch thick, thereabouts.
Oh, blimey. Yeah.
So it takes about 250 sheets of paper to make an inch.
I'm trying to think about what that would be in centimeters, and that would be fucking
2.54.
But Dave has it in his head because Dave has been in the old world and the new one, whereas I was born in the new world.
Now, what's interesting for me trying to talk to people from the UK is like other use of slang. Like pavement for us is the road itself, whereas and the sidewalk is the yeah. So that's an interesting one that we have issues like
there
lost in
is
translations.
there is that people separated by a common language. That I think Americans and Brits are two peoples separated by a common language. For example, another one that you can talk about is pants. For example, pants to us is our underwear. because we speak of pants as underpants as our underwear, whereas pants in America is speaking more of pantaloons, which became trousers.
Or trousers, yeah.
Exactly. So I understand the split. It's a completely logical split, and actually both work. Like, I can't argue against the logic of either of them. I mean, I can argue against the logic of lactheism, but I can't argue against the logic of pants being trousers or underpants, because both of them work. It's amazing how the language has differed over the years. I actually like some of the spellings in America as well.
Like for centimeter in theater, we
No,
have our ERs
colour.
flipped. Oh, color? We remove stuff because we're lazy. Yes.
Yeah, you've removed the U. Now, apparently, that was because of the printing press. I actually like that, but there's the flip side. I don't like how you say herbs.
Oh, some regions say herbs and some regions say herbs. It depends on if it's from a French influence or an English influence.
Yeah, it's that herbs. To me, that sounds like you're trying to be Jamaican. I'm gonna puff the herb. It's just like herbs, you know, like basil. Basil is a herb. You know, it's not an herb that I'm going to smoke. I mean, I get that it's different everywhere, but that's how it works in my head. So when I lived in Michigan and people were talking about herbs, I was just like, "What? Why would you smoke basil, man?" And they're like, "No." It's amazing how there are so many commonalities between American English and British English, but how many differences there are. But actually, there are more differences within England and I suppose the UK about how we speak English.
Oh yeah, you guys have way more different accents than us.
Like, so many more. Like, you have like 4 or 5 states with the same accent, and then 4 or 5 states with the same accent. Our country, I mean, is the equivalent of the size of a single state, and we have a million different accents. That's an exaggeration, but not by much. We go up north, I cannot understand the Geordie accent. Oh, why, hey man, I bought you some flowers. Fleurs, I bought you some fleurs. Like, you're like, what? And then you get to Scotland, and it gets even more confusing. Do you ken the words? Like, what? It's the same language, but what?
Well, if you go to Manchester, there's a different accent for each borough.
It's fucking confusing, isn't it, Dave?
No.
Okay, it's confusing for me. And it's confusing for the average person. But for fucking northerners...
Yeah, it's because we're best.
So they say.
Southern shandy drinkers.
Yeah, shandy.
One of the odd things about my region versus everywhere else is we don't say soda, we mostly say pop.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I noticed, actually. When I lived in Michigan, everybody said pop rather than soda. Yet the more southern regions and the more western regions all said soda instead. I don't know why. And yet, when you come to UK, they don't say soda or pop. They just tend to say fizzy drinks or soft drinks.
Soft drinks.
Like, but in equal amount. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. They're soft drinks or fizzy drinks. Which, again, is fucking weird. Like, it's the same thing and the same language, but we don't say it the same way. Why are we so fucked?
Yet we can all understand what we're trying to say to each other still. That's the amazing part, too.
You're right. We can understand it. There are times when we might have to clarify, but in general, you're right. We can understand that sort of thing. I think the way the world works, like, and TV and things like that, if it wasn't for the fact that the UK had so many American shows on it, we wouldn't understand soda and pop. You know, we would only understand fizzy drinks and soft drinks because that's how it's used in the UK. But what I found about when I lived in America, you didn't have, I mean, this is going back 20 years, you didn't have many British shows over there. You only had American shows. So when I would say something overly British, they wouldn't get it. The odd thing was that I was accused of being Australian, pretending to be British when I lived over there. No one believed I was British. They thought I was Australian. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know how I could be Australian. If I was Australian, I wouldn't have left my fucking country because Australia is fucking awesome, right? The fact that I left my country is because, well, I had to because of my parents, but I would have fought it and run away from home if I lived somewhere like Australia. Fucking England is a load of shit. And I thought, you know what? Going and living in America, it can't be worse than England. I mean, it is right now, but in general, it's not.
It depends on the state.
I think you're right there as well. And I think it depends on the reason you're there. A lot of the holidays that I had when I was younger was a lot of the southern states. Like,
that's another word that's interesting because holiday is usually just a national holiday, is what we have it for. Whereas, like, vacation is holiday for you guys.
yes, you're
Or day
perfectly
off.
right. You're I used to have so many arguments when I lived out there, because for the exact reasons you just said there. Yeah, it's a very, very weird one. But yeah, I mean, when I went to like South Carolina and things like that, it was, I loved being out there, and I actually preferred holidaying or vacationing, to be specific for our American listeners, in the southern states. But I have to say, I've never spent much time on the western states of America. So I can't really judge that. I've probably visited most of the eastern states in America, from Michigan all the way down to Florida. But I probably haven't experienced the western states of America. So I just want to say, you know, my experience of America has been that, and I have preferred, thinking of just the East, the best times I've had have been South Carolina and Florida, except for the winter, which was definitely Michigan.
Yeah, for experience for me, like, I've been to maybe half the states, but I've never been outside of the country. So that's one thing you've had, at least both of you, over me, is like I haven't been ever outside of the country yet.
I found that with a lot of Americans, actually. There was a lot of Americans that have not experienced anything outside of the country. But I also get that as well. I mean, our country is basically the size of one of your states. And you have, depending on who you talk to, somewhere between 50 and 52 states. I don't want to get into that conversation now. But whatever the number you choose, you have within your path quite easily 50 to 52 destinations that we don't have. You know, we travel elsewhere because we're on a little island, basically. And we jump over to somewhere like Europe, and there's lots to do around there. And then we jump a little bit further, and there's a hell of a lot more too.
You guys
So,
speak
sorry,
your-
Karen.
Sorry about that. Because of how relatively small your country is, your public transportation is so much more interconnected for just to getting anywhere. Whereas, if you need to get anywhere past like a metropolitan area, you need to do by car or by bus or by train or by fly. There's no metro system that can get you from one half of the state to the other half of the state.
No, you're right there. We do have that more interconnectedness, but it's nowhere in comparison to, for example, Holland. They are of Europe, of the places I've experienced. The tram and train system within Europe are so amazing in comparison to the way we experience things in the UK. I mean, the way you see the black spots in wherever you are. I mean, in Chicago, but anywhere in America with your public transport system, because there pretty much isn't one. And you go, oh yeah, but the UK have one within their thing that's like our state. Imagine that, but then looking to somewhere like Holland that actually has a really well run one. And it's absolutely amazing how things run over there. It's fabulous, their system. I haven't been in other systems, but I would imagine, because of Germans and the way Germans are, that the German transport system is probably the best in Europe, because Germans are very good with regimented systems.
Yeah.
But my experience of Europe, I mean, I have been to Germany, but it has been for a very specific reason. Whereas when I've been to Holland, has been for a very vague reason of, let's see how wasted I can get in different areas. And it has been done very efficiently. Way more efficiently than I expected.
You have a guest. You have a guest behind you.
Oh, my cat. Yeah, that's Dax. Dax as of Jadzia Dax. So
I was just about to ask.
I don't know if you've watched DS9. I mean, to be honest,
Heard of it.
It's one of the least good Star Treks, but it had a certain magic to me.
It had Terry Farrell.
Sorry?
It had Terry Farrell. That was the magic.
It did have her, and I must admit I love her. And actually, she was in How I Met Your Mother and the New Avengers. I don't know who she is called, but she looks like Terry Farrell, and I quite like her as well. But yeah, there's just basically pretty brunette, and that's what my cat got called.
I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna have to go because Emma's gonna be. Yeah,
Emma's
gonna
shit.
go to bed.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
I didn't realize how late it had got.
that's all good.
10:15 for you guys over there.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I'm not going to go, but I'm going to leave the stream as it is right now. I have to say, thank you very much to everybody who has joined in on the stream tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me out here for right now.
No, I'm glad to have you on there. Now, I mentioned earlier, but Opie is actually going to be joining us next Thursday. Yeah, at 10 p.m. Because Dave, you're going to be making sure that you're downstairs, aren't you?
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about methodological and ontological naturalism. So
and well done for getting that right, that drunk.
Yeah, I do you know what I mean? I'm fucking fucked right now. I may even after this do another stream of me fucking up mixes. But
Well, just because I'm going doesn't mean you got to end the stream.
well, no, I'm going to end this stream because I need to have a wee.
I have to probably go make dinner now soon too. So
Yeah, no,
Okay.
definitely.
Thanks for joining, Opie. It was great
It
speaking
was
to you.
absolutely
finally.
great
Pleasure.
to have you on
I
here.
can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Well, 2 days from now.
Thursday,
Yeah.
But we're gonna have that conversation, and I'm very much up for it because it's a topic that, again, I have a very base understanding of, and I mean, as Dave and I have said, OP is far more intelligent than either Dave or I.
Oh dear, no. I cannot agree to that. Every time you guys give me that compliment, I have to say refrain from trying to say, please don't do that.
I can relate to that feeling.
I think we all can. But I mean, to be honest, from interacting with you, Opie, and everything that you have said, that's how I feel, because you definitely have far more knowledge than I do, and you're amazing. I mean, I love interacting with you because of the way you interact as well, Opie. It's that bit where there are so many people that we interact with online that are so heuristic that just try and have an argument with us. I don't give a fuck about the argument. I care about the content, and the content can change my mind, not the argument. You know what I mean? And you're one of those people that interacts in a way that makes me want to listen to what you say. You are a fucking lovely person who has far more knowledge about this stuff than I do. You have so much more knowledge, and you're an incredibly bright guy too. And I can't wait to get into a conversation with you about something you really know, something you really, really know. And that is next Thursday at 10 p.m. GMT. That's 5 p.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. Central. And just before that, Dave and I are actually going to be taking apart the Canadian Atheist Club's definitions for the official definition for atheism.
Oh, interesting. I can't wait for that.
But honestly, dude, you're awesome, and I can't wait to have this conversation with you on Thursday.
You're awesome too. That's kind of why I like listening to you every time I try to get off of work.
Nice one, thank you.
Right, so I suppose this is the end of the stream. So it is the 16th of February at 10:20, and we are ending tonight's conversation. And I am Joe.
And I'm Dave.
That's Opie. We've had a number of other people who have joined us tonight. I'm fucking pissed. I'm sorry. I'm not that sorry though. Have yourselves a good night, all.
Good night, all. And see you Thursday, OP.
And as I mentioned, the general vibe of everything is Tuesdays 8 p.m. To 10 p.m. and Thursdays 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. But this Thursday is a little bit more special because at Thursday at 8 p.m. we are going to be having that conversation about the official definition of atheism, and at 10 p.m. we're going to be having the discussion with Opie about ontological and methodological naturalism. And that is genuinely hard to say when drunk.
Hard to say when sober.
Good night, all.